Quarantine Edition with Wild Horse Productions. I'm Carol Scott, Executive Director of Wild Horse Productions, and with me today is Miss Tara Rispin. Yay!
Yay!
Hi, Tara. How are you?
I'm good, Carol. How are you?
I'm good. So, where are you in the world today? Where are you quarantining?
I'm quarantining in Reno. I live in Midtown now.
Ooh, what's it like downtown right now?
It's not too bad. It's a little sparse, not as many people out. But it's not too bad. It's definitely busier than Carson.
Oh, okay, good. Carson is destitute sometimes here.
Yes, there's still, when we go out on walks, I still see random people. So
that's good. So you are quarantining where you live. We have had people that have gone away from where they live and they're quarantining in different places. But you are quarantining where you live. That's great.
I am. I actually have a lot of friends that came back to Nevada or went to where they're originally from that were living in New York because they were like, I got to get out of here.
I know. We have a couple of alumni who have done the same thing that I've already interviewed. So yeah. We are talking about Wild Horse today. And can you tell us what your shows were that you did at Wild Horse when you were a youngster and how old you were? What shows did you do and how old were you?
Sure. So, well, I'm a little bit of an oldie, I guess now. So I started out when it was still BACStage Kids at the Brewery Arts Center. And so I was trying to remember, and I can't remember specifically, but I think my very first show, tell me if you remember the show, was How to Eat Like a Child.
Oh, totally remember that show. Totally
way back when.
Yeah, that's a fun show.
It was, and I specifically remember, I think that was my first show with you guys because I got cast in like a really, really small, like tiny little role, and then someone dropped out, and I remember getting like upgraded, and I was like, right. And somewhere is floating around I think my mom has it, is I'm in the newspaper for that show. And I'm like, wearing this like yellow t-shirt, and there was this girl next to me with dog ears on. So
that's a show that I keep thinking we should resurrect.
It would be so great.
Because it's a cute review show.
Exactly, and there's so many singing opportunities. I remember that was like one of my first shows that I really had the opportunity to sing by myself and sing groups and do a bunch of different numbers.
Well, you jogged my memory when you sent me some photos of you in our other shows. Velveteen Rabbit. I mean, I totally remember you in those shows. Totally.
Yeah, Velveteen Rabbit, I was the skin horse. I remember that. And actually, Jenna, who played the Velveteen Rabbit, just moved back to Reno, and she worked the 24-hour play at Reno Little Theater a month or so ago, and so I ran into her. That was really crazy. Yeah, I did Velveteen Rabbit. I also was in Charlie and Chalk Factory, or whatever the show was called. I can't remember.
Willy Wonka
Factory. And I remember specifically I played one of my parts. I was an Oompa Loompa, and I was the Chocolate River. I remember that. I waved like fabric back and forth. And then I remember I was actually in a charity event for HIV and AIDS with Sierra way back in the day.
Yeah, we used to do those.
We sang songs from Rent and stuff. So I go way back. But then I kind of stopped doing a lot of shows there, and I transitioned to helping out a lot. Choreographed for Annie. I choreographed for Honk Jr. And I think there was one other ones that I choreographed for. So once I got into high school, I really started like helping out more with Wild Horse. Right,
and that's how you got to all your specialties today, because you have to be working backstage. You are working at Little Theater and doing things and teaching. So why don't you tell us where your trajectory took you? I mean, you have been in New York and now you're back again, but tell us where you've been and what you've been doing.
Sure. I've kind of been everywhere. So after high school, I was very determined to get out of Nevada, especially because when I was growing up here, UNR did not have the theater program that it has now. So as soon as I left for college, I really didn't come back to Reno or Carson City for a really long time. So I was fortunate enough, I've worked in so many different aspects of the field. I was fortunate enough when I was in college, I worked professionally on the costume crew for Opera Theater of St. Louis. So every summer I was a dresser and I did quick changes and I took care of the costumes and mended them and did all that stuff. And then immediately after college, I went to Los Angeles and I lived there for 5 years and did a bunch of things there. I was fortunate enough to be part of like a couple music videos. My friends and I, because we all had brought in these different contributions to being able to make films, you know, we had someone that had a nice camera, we had writers, we had directors, I did the costumes, so we put on a lot of our own movies and web series and that kind of stuff. And then right before I left, I was fortunate enough to work with a lady doing costumes. So for commercials, I did a lot of Wells Fargo commercials. And then I worked on a lot of investigative discovery shows. So I was very fortunate to do all things in film when I was out in LA. And then I kind of took a moment and said, you know, my dream has always been to go to New York and try it there. So I moved back for a couple years to save up money, which is when I started getting more involved with Wild Horse again and helped direct and choreograph and pretty much anything you wanted me to do for a few shows, which I loved. And then I moved to New York and I was very fortunate there to get to work on 3 different productions, I believe. New York is a beast. It's insane. It's hard to find things to audition for that is not, you know, over 1,000 people auditioning for it.
Right, I've heard that from a couple of people that I've talked to.
Yeah, so I was very lucky to get to be in the shows that I was in. And then during all of that kind of chaos, I met someone that I decided to spend the rest of my life with. And so they got a job offer at Reno Little Theater. And so we moved back to Reno and now here I am back in Reno.
Well, we're the lucky ones to have you back. So what college did you go to? So our rising stars will know.
Yeah, I went to Lindenwood University, which is right outside of St. Louis in St. Charles, Missouri. And I heard of them from going to the Thespian Festival and auditioning for colleges. And their program has grown into something really big and really great. And it's starting to become more of a reputable theater program as the years go on. My senior year, they finally built a multi-million-dollar theater building. And so that kind of what also got me more into costuming, because I was lucky enough to work on the costume crew for all the tours they brought in. So I got to be Liza Minnella's personal dresser. I got to work on the tour Moving Out and Cirque du Soleil tour. So my college was pretty good of providing me with a lot of opportunities. And I was also lucky because it's a smaller college. And so I was able to play leads almost my entire time there instead of
I can
not
see
getting cast.
That would be important. And I think it's also important for our young people who are coming up to know that it's good to diversify.
Yeah.
It's good if you worked because you did all these other things while you were auditioning. So you have to have something that you can do to sustain yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. When I lived in LA, I started working out as an office and I was like, what am I doing? Because I need to have a flexible schedule and I know how to do all the other things besides just acting. So why am I not making money in that? Because it's true what they say, the money is in the tech. The money and the jobs are in tech theater. It is not in acting.
I tell them that too, but nobody listens to me. So what are you doing right now? I know you're back. We're so happy that you're back, but I know you got your hands in a lot of different shows too, and you're teaching.
I do. Well, yeah. So my job is I teach middle school, but I'm also trying to get my branch out and get my name out in the education theater world as well. So along with Wild Horse, I also work with Reno Little Theater's education program, and I also teach a couple acting classes for the Sierra School of Performing Arts in Reno. So just kind of branching out and getting that done. And then I just do shows as much as possible. So right now I'm going to say that I'm in.
You are still in.
I'm in Heather's right now. We will have a show at some point. I know it.
Yes, we are. Heather's is going to happen. It is going to happen. There is no way we're going to let this beautiful show go anywhere. And we have a timeline. Like Alice in Wonderland's a little different because our kids aren't leaving for college or moving on or doing jobs. So Alice in Wonderland, we can move later. We know that Heather's is going to happen. So you are an amazing part in Heather's. So tell us what you're doing in Heather's.
I play two parts. For those of you that don't know the lingo, it's technically called tracks. So I play Miss Fleming, which is a crazy, eclectic, hippie teacher. So that's very typecast for me. I feel like I'm just like being a amped up version of myself, really, in that show. And then I also play Veronica's mom, so that she's a little bit more reserved and sweet and kind of posh, and so that's kind of what I channel with that. But I was having a lot of fun during rehearsals. I'm a little bummed that they've stopped, but I know we'll get picked back up soon. So it's just been a lot of fun, and it's been a really good stress relief for me, I think, at this point in my life. Now that I've kind of changed gears a little bit, I like to use theater more so as like my outlet.
Right. Yeah.
And relieving the stress and just being able to be creative.
Right. Do you have a dream role that you would like to do? If you had your dream, who would you like to be?
I have two. The first one is a little bit more age appropriate. I would love to be Lucy in Jekyll and Hyde. I've obsessed about that role for so long. The songs are great. I've been singing Someone Like You for I don't even know how many years.
Love that show. Love it.
And then my second one, which I will play because I haven't got to the age yet, is I would love to be Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd.
You are the third person who told me Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd.
Really?
Yes.
She's such a complex character because I feel like I'm very good at playing like the comedic reliefs in the character roles, but she's also got this like deep, dark, sordid past that's very interesting, and I would love to play that when I get older, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing show. You know, they have a Sweeney Todd high school edition.
Really?
Yes. It's
So
not
we'll
a
do
junior.
that next.
It's not a junior, and I saw that they used red ribbons for the blood. Or something like that, some symbolic stuff. They're still making the pies, but it's a little bit more symbolic, I guess.
Sure.
So I've been putting everybody on the spot. It's probably because it's me, because I want to hear everybody sing, because I love you guys. So is there something you would like to share with us?
I don't know. I can give you a little preview of Miss Fleming if you want.
Awesome.
From Heather's, because that's just stuck in my head.
That's great. It's going to be a Heather's preview for the people who watch this, who have been waiting to see Heather. It's coming, but Tara's going to give us a preview.
Okay. Deep inside of everyone, there's a hot ball of shame. Guilt, regret, anxiety, fears we dare not name. But if we show the ugly parts that we hide away, they turn out to be beautiful by the light of day. Why not shine, shine, shine a light?
Love it. I think we need
Like
that.
too much
Shine
away.
But totally, we need that. So
I also did not warm up, Carol. I forgot about that part. So
that's okay. So to end, what advice would you give any of our upcoming rising actors who want to pursue this as a career or maybe looking at another track? But what advice would you give them that you learned as you were growing up?
I feel like my advice is kind of twofold. The first part is to don't be afraid at a certain point in your life to change your career path, because that's something I just recently struggled with a lot of moving back to Reno. Is I had a goal of performing for so long and being on Broadway for so long. Like that has been my dream since middle school. And so it, just because it's not exactly maybe what you thought, you can still participate in theater and you can still have theater part of your life and still do it and be called an actor and have a different life as well, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Second part of advice, I think, is to not be discouraged about the whole lead and that kind of thing. I think that I'm very lucky, and I didn't think of it this way for a really long time, but I'm kind of like the triple threat. I can dance and sing and act. And so I was often put into chorus or dance roles because of it, because not everyone can sing or, do one or the other thing. But I found that I had a lot more fun, especially as I got older and learning tracks, and I was in more of the show and I did more things and I got to create more than just one character. And so I personally think that it's better to be chorus and better to be in all of like the small little random pop-in roles versus, oh, here's my cat. Rather than just being, he always has to, and being that lead, like right. I think playing all the different roles and being in every different chorus number is a lot more fun sometimes. So.
Yeah, and I think kids get hung up on that, right? But I try to tell them that, and of course they're young, they don't understand. But I think also what you just said about doing other things and diversifying what you do is so important for everybody to learn. There's other things in theater you can do. And
exactly, it doesn't matter where you are doing it, as long as you're doing it and you're contributing to the craft and the art. Right. I think you can call yourself an actor and you don't have to get hung up on if it's on Broadway or if it's in a movie.
Exactly. Yeah. I think I definitely believe that forever, and you've shown that. You have done so much.
It was a hard lesson. It was a hard lesson for me to learn over the years, but
it's your passion. Your passion doesn't go away.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you can share your passion too, and it doesn't mean that because you've changed your course now, it's not going to change back at some point.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of the fun part about growing up is you can learn those things and you can take and give where you need to and bring it into your life when you need it to and take it out of your life when you need to and figure out a nice balance with everything.
Well, I know we're going to see you as Miss Lovett. And I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that.
Even if you're old and gray.
It's going to be great. I'm going to do it.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time this afternoon to talk to us and share all your wisdom and your talents with our young rising stars. And, it's so wonderful to talk to everybody. And I'm so happy you're back. I mean,
oh,
and I've heard from other people that are coming back. So
I'm very happy that I'm back too. I didn't think for a while, but I really do love teaching kids theater. It's so much
And aren't you glad you are here during this crazy time instead of LA?
Yes. Oh my goodness, so much.
I know. So we're in a small town. It's much nicer than being in LA, and
it definitely feels more safe.
Yes. So anyway, thank you so much, Tara, and I'll see you on stage. I'll see you in Heather's.
Really soon. Thank you.
Bye, sweetie.
Yes. Bye, Carol.